Hello and welcome back to Foods Entertainment. For my next review, well, it's that season again, September. You know what I do in September and October. I do my annual Horror Film Festival. This is mine for 2025. I'm starting out with creature features, modern creature features. Tonight I will be talking about two creature features, starting with, and I might add, you notice I have a different layout right here because the second film that I will be reviewing tonight, I watched literally just a few minutes ago on this projector screen. Just a little bit less lighting. The first movie we're going to be talking about is 1989's Leviathan. This is the 4K release from Kino Lorber. Now, if I did have a quality segment of this movie, I would be talking about that, but I'm not. But for people out there, I would say it's an okay 4K release, but I'll leave it at that. I'm here to talk about the movie, my experience with the film. Maybe give a little trivia. Now, I'm going to say this trivia, I would say that kind of follows the trend created by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Well, now I'll get to that. But first thing, as you always do, we're talking about the plot of the film, the Rose opinion of the film, my opinion of the film, the history I have with the film, and how it relates to a trend that was going on in the 1980s and 1990s, and has come back with films like The Meg and The Meg 2 Trench in the 2000s. So here we go. Brand new HD master from a 4K scan of the 35 intermediate. Purge into this Go for the Jogger sci-fi thriller starring Peter Willer, RoboCop, and featuring non-stop action, nerve-shattering suspense, and awesome creature special effects by Stan Winston. On a dark and forbidding ocean floor, the crew of a deep-sea mining rig discovers a shaken foreigner that burdens a deadly secret. A genetic experiment game gone horrifyingly wrong. With a storm raging on the surface and no hope of rescue, the captain, played by Peter Willer, and his team are thrown into a spine-tingling battle for survival against the ultimate foe. A hideous monster that cannot die and lives to kill. Leviathan is a gripping and imaginative thrill ride that will leave you gripping for air and crawling for the surface. And that's pretty much Snap this. All their stuff is all about actors and stuff. I don't think we need to talk about that. All right. Rose opinion of Leviathan. This is one of those films that critics saw back in 1989 from Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, MGM, and they didn't give the film much thought. They just didn't. But then, throughout history, it became a very big cult classic, and one of the definitions of a cult classic, and definitely lives up to that. Critics that, have fallen in love with this movie have called it Alien underwater. I would beg to differ. Now we're going into my opinion. I would beg to differ. I would say that it's John Carpenter's The Thing underwater, due to the formula that this creature has. This creature literally lives off of the life force, the blood of humans that it consumes, and it integrates their remains into making itself bigger. And so when you see stuff like, for example, the third season of Stranger Things, when you have the Mind Flayer going ahead and making itself bigger by consuming the raw materials of its victims, you kind of know now where they got that from. They got that from this movie, Leviathan. I always loved Leviathan. I had now they don't have these anymore because of how fast movies are released to VOD and then to physical media. They don't really have this anymore. But back in the day, they would have what's known as VHS tape screeners of movies. And my dad actually had a screener tape of Leviathan. And that was my first thing with first experience with Leviathan. And I fell in love with the film back then. And throughout history, I have bought in the DVD. I think I might have had the regular Blu-ray of it at one point. I don't think so, though. I think this is the first high definition version of the movie. But of course, you have two discs in here. You have the regular Blu-ray, and you have the new 4K UHD Blu-ray in here. And this one's actually a pretty good release because of the fact that it actually has reversible art. It has the new artwork on the other side, but I've always loved this original theatrical poster. But I just always loved this movie, and what I love about it is it's just that eeriness of you're being isolated in a underwater rig. You can't like escape from the creature that's coming across you because you will die if you go outside of the rig. And the clock is ticking, and there's so many adrenaline things going on in this movie. I want to also say that this is probably one of my favorite Peter Weller performances. My number one favorite always will be The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension from 1984. But Leviathan from 1989 would probably have to take number 2 spot. Sorry, RoboCop fans. But that's just the way I am. Now a little bit of interesting stuff about Leviathan and how it relates to a trend created by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Well, at the end of Predator in 1987, you have a one-liner that Schwarzenegger delivers to the Predator when he takes his mask off. And that, of course, is, "You're one ugly motherfucker." Well, that started a trend. That started a big trend that traveled for decades in creature movies. And that is the hero having a punchline, a one-liner, usually before they vanquish the creature. In Leviathan is Peter Weller basically taking a pipe bomb, I guess, or something along those lines, looking at the creature with disgust, and it's like, "Say ah, motherfucker," and throwing the bomb into his mouth, and it blew up. And that, of course, would be carried on with the late Michael Manson's best performance, which is that of Preston Lennox in The First Species, where he takes a big grenade launcher, points it out the creature, and he's like, "Let go, you motherfucker," and blows the creature's head off. And this was just it's been traveling along this little trend about having a cool action hero taking on a creature, and it started with Predator, but I'll be honest, this is probably my favorite one of them when it comes to that, second being Species. And I just simply love this movie. Now, on a ranking system, how would I rank 1989's Leviathan? I would rank 1989's Leviathan is a 3.5 stars out of 4. Why do I not give it 4 stars? I like this movie. Well, because people like me who are in their 40s, we grew up with this movie here. But I cannot, by any measure, give it a perfect score due to the fact that not just anybody can watch Leviathan and enjoy it. There's some people out there that would watch this movie and not enjoy it. And my ranking system, although based off of my own opinion, a lot of times, I still look at society as a whole when it comes to ranking a movie. Something that a lot of reviewers don't do. I do. No. And I actually really enjoyed this movie, but like I said, it's because I grew up with the film. So that has something to do with it, which is why I give it a almost perfect score. Because it is almost a perfect movie. That half a star I'm not giving it is really related to society at large, about how some people actually probably wouldn't get into a movie like this. So 3.5 stars. If you haven't seen Leviathan, Foos says check it out, and I'll see you on the next film, which I might add the DIY above, was actually set for. Now keep in mind that the LED poster frames would not be going. The intensity was a lot lower, so we could get more ambience to the movie. And I will see you guys next time for what that movie is, and that is coming up right next. Until then.